Hi, my name's Darren Quick. Welcome to an episode of Game Chat. As always, join Alan and I and Hunter for the latest game news. Tonight, we're talking about Expedition 33.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Claire Expedition 33. Doom's new game coming out. Yes, there's a new game. Plus all the Xbox games coming out this month. Marvel Rivals has a new patch coming out. They're updating a few new scans and a few problems with it. Surpriser to me, Minecraft the movie is doing real well out there, even though mostly these video game movies, I personally don't want to even touch them with a 5-foot pole because they're usually just crappy. Fortnite has Star Wars coming out. COD's got a few updates too. And all that. Oh, yeah, Switch 2 is coming out, too. So all that and more on this episode of Game Chat. Here we go. Hey, Alan. Hey, Hunter. How's you guys going over there in eSport world? How's it going over there?
We're doing great, Darren. How are you?
Doing good. Good. I heard you guys are doing playoffs. And
Yep. I can give a recap of the playoffs that we had. We had, I'm trying to think because we last did this in the middle of March. We had the last of our regular season matches. Smash Brothers ended the season on 2-6, which wasn't a great record, but these kids had a blast, and you could see the progression throughout the year.
Yeah.
They'd had a lot of practice against each other and not a lot of practice against opponents they didn't recognize.
Exactly.
And we felt that, but that's part of the growing process.
That's part of the experience. Rocket League went 5-3 on the season. They got into the Eastern Region playoffs, which is made up of all the teams of the Eastern, basically everything east
Everybody
of the
they were
Mississippi.
playing.
Yep. We lost in the first round to North County High School, who they also went on to the finals and lost to TEC. I forget what the initials stand for, but they had lost to a team that had also beaten us earlier in the season as well. So it's nice to see that the teams that we had been going against, and when it gets to like the postseason, the playoffs and stuff, we're not too far behind those guys in terms of the upper echelon of those players.
Even last year with region levels, you guys weren't that far behind.
Nope. It's
you always had that one or two teams that would just be the better dominant team.
Yeah, and that's kind of and that's the way high school sports kind of go sometimes.
Yeah.
It's either a blowout this way or a blowout this way, or it's two really well coached and evenly matched teams, and then it's whoever gets the better breaks.
Or as I just say, either you're the dominant or you're the one being dominated.
Yeah. So where there's that, we also got invited because we won the VPA state championship for Rocket League in the fall. We were invited to the Play Versus Cup, which is the national, all regions together. They take all of the Play Versus winners throughout the year, and also other teams that did really, really good, puts them into a national tournament. And they've got a prize pool for Rocket League of $4,500 in scholarship money for the team. For the kids on the team, for the winner. So there's
a piece or just divided among.
I think it's divided amongst them. But that's still at least
that's still a good chunk of change
over $1,000 to put towards college. So
put towards college.
Beyond that, it was my mistake that I thought we were going to be doing like an in-person tournament with the statewide stuff. What I was told and how it works out now is that it's for the state tournaments.
They only via online.
Well, they only take the top 4 teams, and they only do Rocket League championship in the fall, and they do a Smash Brothers championship in the spring.
So with your record, you're not. So in other words, you're not.
So he just missed the playoffs because there was 8 or 9 Vermont teams, and we came in 5th. Ooh. So we just missed. That's okay. That's fine.
But I'm just going to say, for your second year, that's not bad at all.
Well, this was our first year actually in the
doing some real
competition. Year, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Fifth place.
We only kept one athlete from last year's team. So this was building a new team from scratch.
Yeah. Still, that's not bad. Fifth
Yeah.
place.
No,
Out of
I'm
fifth out of
very
eighth. That's pretty good.
considering like half of the like basically every kid but Ben like walked in being like, I haven't actually like played Smash.
Yeah.
Like I'm brand new to this game,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty happy with that result for where we started. Yeah,
That's damn good.
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I'd
happy
love to
too.
give a shout out to those guys too. Ben, Aiden, Troy, and Gavin, who's come on late because he had other commitments. You guys rock, seriously.
And Harold. And all
Well,
of
Harold's
them.
on the Rocket League team. I'll give the Rocket League kids a shout out too because you got Harold, you got John Tanner who joined us late, Hayden Boudreau, and Hunter Kane.
Yeah. And I
And
heard.
Troy and Harold have been mixing in,
I
doing
was going to
commentary
say.
and stuff.
I heard I got my job. My job's been taken over by the two kids.
It's kind of what we always wanted this program to be. You know
it's
what I
finally
mean?
taken
Was-
off to where the kids are actually running it, not
They're doing
us.
the production part of it as well, and that's
Yeah.
kind of that's always been
where we
Always
wanted.
great to sneak that skill into people's pockets when
absolutely.
we can.
And the thing that I love about like esports is that's encouraged and like part of the
Yeah.
process of being on the
Yeah.
team. So like Harold was doing commentary for a couple games. He's like, oh, I'm gonna sub in, so he had to jump over. But no, the kids are fantastic.
Yeah, and
It's
all-
been a great year so far.
All it took was them to sit right here,
Yeah.
watching me do it.
Yep, absolutely.
All they did, Harold and Troy sat there and watched me do it. Like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
This is not bad at all.
Yeah, you kind of gotta just crack that shell sometimes of like it's very nervous and intimidating to sit here and like in front
It
of the
is.
camera and talk and stuff. But once you can kind of get over that little hump,
Get
it's-
over that hump and
it's
just
fun to
ignore
see
that
what-
they're not monitors
you just-
sitting right
yep,
there.
yep,
You
you
can't
just
see
keep working.
yourself.
Yep.
You're just talking to basically yourself.
You're just having a conversation with the audience.
Yeah. So
So that's the esports wrap up.
that's the esports wrap up. So yeah, that's pretty much. And I'm glad too. I'm happy for you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you have been here doing commentary for the past couple of years, helping
Yeah.
us out. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's move on to what the heck have we been playing this last month? And-
I have not been playing much, simply for the fact that I am finally back in my house now.
Congratulations.
Thank you
15
very
months
much.
later.
15 months, but we're
Yay!
back in. I'm still just getting everything settled. I've got my TV. I miss my. It's just one of the nicest things in the world that I didn't realize was a thing was like my own television. I haven't been able to watch my own TV in 15 months, and it's just.
Daddy's
it's so nice.
been.
Yep.
Daddy's been.
I've had a couple
neglected.
nights I just fell asleep on the couch because I was so comfortable. It's just great. So I admittedly have not been playing very, very much. I've been getting into Madden a little bit. One of the things I
that
did.
was another thing I was.
Yeah, one of the things I did over the weekend was to see how well the transfer mode that they have, where you can start a character in NCAA football and get him drafted into NFL and kind of keep your single player storyline going through. So I kind of started that. It's not a hard process, but it's a kind of like cross game progression I've always kind of wanted to see. So
And they're talking. There's another SR Sports moving on about
Yeah.
the release of it.
oh yeah,
next
they
year's
just announced
release.
Madden 26 and
Yeah.
NCAA football 26 and all that fun
About
stuff.
how they're going to
so.
be bundling it. I might move just quickly do it. They're going to be bundling it basically.
Yeah,
it's
more or
gonna be
less.
like for like $100 and something dollars a month.
$150 or something like that.
$150 for you get NCA and
And
Madden
Madden. Yep.
together, and then just going to do it, or you can do separate. Right now, it's
Yep.
not for any platform. They're not supporting it yet. It's just right now. It's just out there. They just say, okay,
Yep.
we're going to do 26, but we don't know when.
Well,
yet.
no, they do. They announced what platforms they were going on. I was reading about this last week. It's they are not going to be on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the like previous generation.
Yeah.
So these versions will only be PlayStation 5, Xbox Series,
Yeah.
and Switch 2. So it looks like EA is starting to get back into the Nintendo business, which is
Yeah,
kind of nice.
which is great because that's where how I started. It was when they were doing it on the Wii.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and even way before that.
I honestly, I don't necessarily think that it's people getting back into the Nintendo business. Why wouldn't you want to release on a
Exactly.
Nintendo
Yeah.
console?
I think it's. I
yeah,
think the hardware has finally caught up
Yeah,
to where EA
like-
is comfortable releasing
Yeah,
stuff.
like one of the most like damning things about the Switch 2, like one of the things that like people hate the most about it is that it's a legitimately great machine. Like, it's we've gotten to the point where, you know, like one of the tech demos that they showed for the Switch 2, because they had a bunch of press in, let people get their hands on it, showed off a bunch of stuff it can do, and like the like impact of like it's just a better Switch, and like it is a better Switch. It's playing Cyberpunk, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Bye.
And
that
it's like,
can, that can run.
Yeah. Oh, you're
yeah.
using the
Meanwhile,
joy.
Fred is starting to jump into the mix here.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, you want to just take off that controller and use it as a mouse? Go for it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as just unhooking it, popping
Well,
it. Like,
that opens up legitimately interesting gameplay opportunities that
Absolutely.
a lot of games are looking to explore in really, really cool ways. Well, Switch 2 is a conversation we're going to get to, and there's a lot to say about it, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. What have you been playing, Darren?
Oh, let's see. I got one that you wanted to play, Crime Simulator.
Yep. Crime scene cleaner simulator.
Yeah, which is cool. It's if you like House Flipper, you know, it's kind of like House Flipper, but instead of cleaning up messes, you clean up blood.
Yep. You work as a
Mafia cleaner.
a cleaner for the mafia. So if something happens and you go into the aftermath and you've got to clean the place.
You
and
gotta
get rid
take
of all
the
evidence.
you gotta take the body out. You gotta take all the bodies out. You gotta take all the evidence away. You gotta clean up all the blood. You gotta put back everything back the way it was when they walked in.
Yeah, I mean, Car Wash Simulator opened up a lot of opened up a whole like, all right,
Car mechanic
apparently
too.
There's a market.
There's
for
a
that.
market for it.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's a good
fun.
game.
It's
yeah.
relaxing. Those kinds of games are very just zen-like and
Yeah.
peaceful. It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved on to one of the pool party. You just sit there cleaning out this pool party after your boss, his daughter just had a pool party and there's like
jeez.
10 bodies
Oh my
you have
God.
to clean out.
Yeah. No, I gotta check that out. That one's on Game Pass. So
Yeah,
I'll
it's a
get-
fun game.
I'll
And of
borrow
course,
that one.
I've been sweating it out on COD. I haven't touched Fortnite in like almost 3 months. So.
Yeah. Well, they got the new season coming out.
Oh,
tomorrow, right?
oh yeah, I'm touching it because it's
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's the
they've
only
got-
reason why.
What did I see? They've got a episode of something that's premiering Sunday night, but they're doing a premiere event in Fortnite tomorrow where they're like showing the episode 2 days early.
I don't know.
But you got to be logged. You got to be in a Fortnite match for it.
Yeah,
so.
Fortnite like evolving into like a multimedia platform.
It has.
one of the more wild things.
It
has.
still just blows my mind. It has gone from that like this is crazy with all of these people to like exhaustion of it to kind of back around to
It is
that is what they do now. They're just
it has
crazy.
evolved into a technological gray area that is fascinating to look at. Like
Yep.
it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I maybe should be a part of that for
Yeah.
what it's gonna do. And obviously that continues to drive people coming to it, which
Yeah.
allows them to get crazier.
Yep.
And that snowball is just still going down the hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That game has not. I feel like the game when it came out 2017. It maybe
Yeah, about
started
that.
losing some steam around 2020, 2021, and now it seems like it's just as popular, if not more
Yeah.
so. Than
I have a cousin that plays Fortnite, and
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. My cousins don't
Yeah.
know the right end of a controller. Yeah.
well, if you think that's bad, try to sweat it out on COD, okay?
Yeah,
Just saying.
That's yeah.
Just saying.
Respawn.
Basically, yes. All right, moving on to games. Unless you've gone.
Hunter, what
I've
have
been
you-
playing
what have you
games
been
too.
playing?
Have you? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so used to not having you over there.
Yeah. No, I've been playing. I've been trying to get back into Warframe, which has been an interesting experience. I think where I've kind of landed is that it's a very good game. But I have been playing so many Bungie shooters and like not other shooters that I have gotten used to a level of perfection in gunplay that the first time I tried like firing a bow in Warframe, I'm like, that's awful and I'm never going to use it again. Like this doesn't like my brain isn't like every hemisphere of my brain isn't lighting up when I'm shooting a gun in this game. So I can play Warframe for like an hour at a time before I get like bored and exhausted and frustrated with like why isn't the screen connected to my brain. But yeah, I have a friend who's getting back to Warframe and I tend to go where my friends go, so I've been getting back into Warframe. I'm taking a break from Destiny so that it feels fresh in August when I go back to that. I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, excellent game, truly incredible. And I've been playing, and I think that this is the only game I'm ever going to play until I'm done with it, is Clair Obscure Expedition 33, which legitimately I will have plenty to say about it when we get to there, but it every once in a while a game comes out that reminds you why you love this thing. And
Nice.
it like you can tell is going to video games are going to be different now. They have to
Nice.
be.
Nice.
The landscape can't stay the same now that people know that this is possible.
Yep. Okay.
So
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that more.
yeah.
All right. Now we can move on.
Yeah.
Now we can move on to game trivia, which it was my answer was the game trivia last month was Pocket, Light, Color, and Advance were all styles or variants of what video game hardware system or portable hardware system. If you knew it, it was Game Boy, and the winner goes to Troy.
Or no, Harold got that one. Troy got my trivia question.
Okay, well,
My trivia.
Harold
Yeah.
goes to Harold, one of our esports rocketeers. He knew what the question was. So, Harold, you won that question.
Nice job, Harold.
Yeah.
And my trivia question from last month was, what is the name of the red ghost in Pac-Man? And
have no idea. I don't know
Troy
what it
got
means.
it correct. His name is Blinky. So, good job, Troy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good trivia question. I like that.
I've got a trivia question for
Go
this
ahead.
month. For all of you intrepid video game players out there, there is a way in the original Mortal Kombat arcade game to fight Reptile, but you had to do certain things. There are certain stipulations that had to happen for you to do that. What are those stipulations? You put that in the comment section under this video, and you might have a gift card coming to you if you get it right.
Well, mine is an easy one this week. I mean, compared to that one and compared to the last one, I got to stretch the easy ones on this water cooler trivia.
Yeah.
Stretch the easy ones. And if you're an old Mario Brothers fan, don't answer it, you two, because I know you already know it. What object does Mario leap over at the end of each level?
Okay. That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the question. So
All right.
let's move on. All right, let's just get it out of the way. Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
Switch 2.
I am so happy and excited.
Get it out of the
Sorry,
way.
I am just. Oh! It was fantastic. Switch 2 releasing June 5th, I
Something
believe.
like that.
Something like that.
Well, we don't. It depends. We don't know.
It depends. There is some uncertainty as we record this on April 30th, 2025. There is a little bit of uncertainty in the global market, so we'll see what it all shakes out. But the plan is June 5th rollout. I love the announcement on April 2nd and a release date on June 5th. I wish more things would have that kind of
Turnaround,
tight and
yeah.
close window. Everything that was revealed on the Switch 2, I'm really looking forward to the game. There's a feature now. They had a whole 5-minute segment on it in the Switch 2 video called Game Chat. Huh. Wonder where they got that name from.
Thank you. We'll
Yep.
probably made it.
Which basically turns every Switch into a mini mobile Twitch studio where the camera built in, or no, camera's not built in, microphone's built in, the camera's optional. You can stream your gameplay and your camera footage
Twitch,
to your
Kick,
Twitch,
any-
to your other friends who are playing other games. I'm really looking forward to how they implement this because I love the way Nintendo does things, and I know if this was something that like Xbox tried to do or Sony, it would be so cumbersome and not user friendly in the way that everyone would expect it to be.
Well, so unfortunately, the thing is, Xbox and PlayStation have done
sure.
it, and it's what all the streamers use because it's so streamlined and friendly.
Yeah.
Like it does absolutely everything you want it to do, It connects to OBS. It works with other systems. Like
Yep.
it was designed to be compatible with like a streaming setup, and it does it elegantly.
Yep.
People have played with the game chat feature of the Nintendo Switch 2, and it is bad.
Oh,
It
okay.
gets maybe 10 frames a second.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
it-
the cameras are
yeah.
what, 480?
Yeah,
Something
it-
to that
it's-
effect.
Yeah.
It looks like a bad Zoom call. It
Yep.
sounds worse.
Yeah.
And the legitimate thing is like you have a button that you have a share button on your PlayStation controller that like brings up a menu, does it?
Yep.
And it does half
And
of what
Xbox
Discord does, half as well.
Yeah.
So to my understanding, and like a lot of the press I saw were like they were looking at that feature and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is bad and it's not needed and everyone
Well,
else does it better
I
and
think
it
there
doesn't
is-
connect to anything outside of it. What is the purpose of you?
Yeah,
Like we already have, like, even inside of
even
Nintendo's
with
own infrastructure,
Yeah.
there's already like ways to do that.
Yeah.
If you own a phone, which if you own a gaming console, you do.
Yep.
You probably have
Yeah.
Discord.
Yep.
That will serve you better anyway.
Do you
Like,
think they're gonna do any sort of Discord integration the same way
No.
Microsoft has? No.
No.
Well, Microsoft owns Discord, don't they?
I
Or am I wrong on that?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll look it
The
up.
thing is, the share feature is not meant to connect to any other device.
Yeah.
It is kind of built to be like an internal thing, and I think that's part of because of Nintendo's like terms of service.
Yep.
There is a little bit of like concern or like legal issue that can happen if you try and like share data, or if you hand over responsibility to another company and they don't handle that responsibility well, you're on the hook. That's
No.
the whole reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my thinking when I first saw that, is because Nintendo historically has been very sheepish to get into the online gaming world.
Yeah.
It's I think it's more so for the fact that they don't want to be responsible for people maliciously using Nintendo online chatting or or you know what I mean.
It's always been Nintendo's business plan, is the only way I can
Yeah.
think of it,
Yeah.
is to put out good stuff.
Well, yeah, no,
And
there's
they
that.
don't
well-
want people going out there and
I think they're worried about having.
tainting Nintendo's name.
Well,
I think it would be. I think they look at it as kind of like tarnishing Nintendo's reputation if people
quality
are
check.
abusing these programs that they're
They're,
putting. in.
Nintendo's
Yeah,
like
that-
Apple. They want the quality check. They want to be checked. They want to be able to be put out a certain
Yeah.
product, and they want 100% backing. Nintendo's of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
company's backing 100% of it. They want to know what's going out every single time.
Yep.
Just like Apple. Meanwhile, Microsoft, PlayStation, and all that, they're just like, boom,
Yep.
there, have a product.
no.
If you like it, you like it.
Yep.
I'm not so sure. They legally have to. Like, remember there was this whole thing about like Helldivers where
Yes.
you needed a PSN login, and if you were like, even if you were playing on PC and like that kicked up a huge fuss,
Yep.
that stems from the exact same place. Like it
Okay.
literally was like they just had to. Like it was if you are bullied or someone if something happens to you and you're playing Helldivers
Well,
on this other
yeah,
thing,
legally
that
they-
happens on
but that's a
PlayStation's
CYA.
watch.
Yep.
So
It's I think that's kind of more like a CYA, cover your.
yeah, but they have to. So like the peripherals, there's a reason why like when PlayStation like licenses a game somewhere else, they didn't add that because they wanted to. Like they just had
Have
to.
to. Yep.
Yeah, it like so this
cover
is
the
this
butt.
isn't a like this is a like business plan focused thing. It's a you just need to or you don't get to do it at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which obviously like the way that they try to the way that they try to manifest this in their marketing strategy or business strategy does tend to differ. Like, like PlayStation saying like, all right, you have to have a PlayStation account to do it. Like that was their solution to this problem.
Exactly.
The gameplay community decided that it was a bad solution to the problem. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that it was just people realized that they were angry about something and everyone got angry about it.
I want to get angry too.
Yeah, like I also want to be mad. Like the classic internet thing.
Yeah, why are you getting mad? I don't know. Just because everybody else is getting mad, I might as well get mad too with it.
Yeah,
Like,
and so that led to like, but like Microsoft handled it differently, like especially with the way that they have like Game Pass and the way that they built it is that they basically give like they have a little bit more of that autonomy like studio built so that it actually isn't them. Like it's the studio's problem, not their problem. So then they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But like that comes with its own trade-offs. That's one of the reasons why like Baldur's Gate 3 took forever to come out on like the Xbox is because the Larian Studios like they built such a different machine because they're like, well, it's the studio's gonna worry about it and we're gonna do our own hardware, but we're not gonna worry about that compatibility. And specifically, it was working together with the Xbox Play feature. It was like their share feature, which had to be built the way that it had to be to do. So like the answer to this problem causes problems no matter where you go. Like so like it's all stemming from like this isn't like this is a new feature. Like it's no, the law says, hey, actually you have a responsibility to make sure your customers are safe, and they're like, oh, we don't know how to do that.
Yep.
we don't know how to do that because we've never had to.
Yeah. So like it's the way it manifests is different. It's not quite. I think it's just something that they have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know if they've shown any more information on what Nintendo is doing for like an online infrastructure.
So,
which I know basically has
know
been next to existent, really, for a few systems.
well-
Like, that's just what I mean. Microsoft's a computer company. Of course, they're going to be kind of the leaders of online gaming and networking and things like that. Well,
They
as
do
opposed to
to a
Nintendo
point.
or Sony, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
They make computers. That's what they do.
Well-
that's Microsoft's thing.
The interesting thing, so when we're talking about these three companies, is you have to kind of recognize like their roots kind of inform how they operate. And you're absolutely right. The way that you kind of want to be thinking about Sony and Microsoft is that Microsoft doesn't care about Xbox. Xbox is such a small slice of what they do that like Phil Spencer is just kind of given a boatload of money every year and said,
we know
make us
that
more,
for the last
see
3
years. Make us
this,
proud.
yeah, see this,
Yeah.
have more of it. Like
We've known
we're
that
gonna
for the last
come
5
back,
years.
we're gonna come back and we're gonna pull out a yardstick, and if the money pile isn't higher than it was last time, we're gonna ask you some questions. If not, we don't care. Like Microsoft is a company that makes money so far beyond what Xbox does that they actually have very little care for what Xbox does. Sony is a company that makes money because of Sony's properties. So, like, the PlayStation 5 is the focus of their business. So, because Microsoft doesn't care what Xbox is doing, they don't care what their studios are doing, and they kind of don't treat them the greatest. Sony, like, they have to care what their studios are doing because that's going to drive their entertainment, is going to drive this, like, the whole idea of like a chai bowl, the way that works. Yeah,
I'm curious to see what portion of Sony overall, what portion of their business is like PlayStation driven.
Well-
and granted, a lot of it is like ancillary.
PlayStation
like,
driven is like the exact way to put it. Right?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
because they have entertainment products that come from that.
Yep.
And that leads to like Sony makes like monitors, but that's vertical integration to them. Video games are the vertical integration of Microsoft. They made computers, so they made things for you to do with that computers. Sony makes games, so they make things that that you can do with those games. Like that. The direction at which they come at that really informs and can explain a lot of their decision making, which is one of the reasons why Nintendo is the most interesting, because Nintendo makes Nintendo stuff. Like
and that's
they
it.
are Sony, like, they don't have to worry about computers, they don't have to worry about anything else. Like they are their own island. Like the idea of them being the third largest of the 3 game companies when they don't have a parent company is insane.
Yeah.
It is a piece of
Well,
magic.
like I keep saying, Nintendo's been there, done that. We'll just let you two fight it out, and then we'll pick up the rest.
Well, it's like they built their market, they hold on to it, and this is what sculpts so much of the conversation around the Switch too. Is like if you look at like the creator space, if you look at like the people who are like the like fans of just like video games as an art form, like what are they thinking? There is such a mix of legitimate anger at the fact that they like the Switch 2 because they don't want to. I get how that sounds, but like if you understand it from like the perspective of a video game enjoyer, if you like Nintendo and its properties, the magic of Nintendo has always been the way that they integrate gameplay, like they integrate their hardware into their gameplay in a way that Microsoft just doesn't even like couldn't imagine.
Exactly.
Like the idea when the Wii happened, did you see any game that the Wii? Did you see like Wii Golf on the Xbox? No. It couldn't be done. That idea of like motion control integration, that idea of like having that little bar and you could like pose, like Xbox had the Kinect for a while. But
Sony
like,
had the PSI.
Yeah.
They had a camera.
But like they couldn't like
Microsoft had the Kinect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, but like, and they had like tiny little games that were like a little weird, but like the idea, like the Wii U, like the Wii exploded. The Wii U didn't because it wasn't an evolution. The Switch, they were like, all right, that's handheld now. Like, and when they were like, literally, it was like, hey, the DS, that's where all our games are going to be, but they're going to be just as good.
Yep.
Like that, like
Well,
they
Nintendo,
are.
They took what they had, which is the Game Boy, and just went, okay.
Yeah,
make it bigger.
no, the Nintendo is a place where they are constantly carving new frontiers, and those new frontiers allow for games that could not exist any other way. Not a lot of people liked it, but like Prime Mother and like the way that like the motion controls and the aiming worked, or like the Twilight Princess and like the way that like these games that like are a fundamentally different experience depending on what console you play them. That has been the bleeding edge of Nintendo and its existence. Even Breath of the Wild has like these motion control mechanics that are built into the gameplay and game feel. Like, so when people talk about like, oh my God, Breath of the Wild is so good, it's like, man, like let's get a PC port or a
It won't be the
PlayStation
same.
port. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like, that like the way that you have to, like the gimmick of the thing that we joke about in like the Legend of Zelda space is that the console is in the game every time there's a new game.
Yeah, because it's pulling whatever features that they can get out of that hardware to make it a different game.
But like the Sheikah Slate is literally a Switch.
Yeah.
The Master Sword was literally a Wiimote.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's so cool. So like seeing Nintendo say, hey, here's better hardware that processes better is a legitimate disappointment. It's like,
it feels like
Where'd
they're
it
trying.
go?
They're trying. They're just trying to catch up with Sony and. But God, Nintendo just has such.
I know. The problem then is like, man, Nintendo, I'm disappointed in you. And then you see Cyberpunk played on a Switch, and you're like,
that's actually really good.
Yes.
That's pretty
That's
impressive.
why we should
So-
buy this. No.
Yeah. So like the discourse on the Switch 2 right now is like the Switch 2 is doing what other companies do well. Like they have executed this correctly in a way that satisfies you, the consumer. But what Nintendo does is invent new consumers.
Yeah.
Like,
The way, real quick, the way I see the consoles have kind of gone out since PS3 was you've got Sony and Microsoft that are battling for technical prowess, processing speed. Nintendo went this way and said, oh, we don't care about graphics. We want gameplay. We want something fun, unique, and original. And Sony and Microsoft are like, okay, well, enjoy your 480 graphics for however long. And PS3 comes, PS4 comes, and there's the Wii and the Wii U, and that kind of peters out. But then the Switch comes on, and Sony are they're in their PS4, PS5, and it's like, well, that's a cool, fun system, but you still can't run Cyberpunk.
You can't keep up with us.
That was always the thing that they had over Nintendo was like, well, you don't have our graphical prowess. And Nintendo just showed up with the Switch 2 like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, no.
And we got Mario. So what do you want to do?
No.
What do you... Yeah.
And like, again, that is great.
Yeah.
But it's like,
You don't have
is this the trajectory? Because
Don't.
if it is, that's legit. Like,
I
there's
don't-
this
nobody wants to-
conversation between Yoshida and I can't remember who was the head of Xbox at the time, but they were at E3, and they were like they were talking about like stuff that hadn't come out yet, and the head of Xbox was like, "Oh man, I'm so excited for this, and like the graphics are going to be bigger and better than ever, and like we're coming out with like a new Gears of War, and it's gonna be great."
Yeah.
And then Yoshida was like, and then he was like, hey, we're here. Maybe we could make a deal. Like, it'd be fun to put that out to other markets. Like, Gearbox would love to. I'm sure Gearbox would love that. And Yoshida like thought about it and he said, I don't think that would play with the over 60 crowd. And the head of Xbox was like, people over 60 don't play video games. And Yoshida said, but they will be playing ours. And then when the Wii came out, we golf, we volleyball, we tennis, like we bowling was
Brain
huge.
Age. Remember Brain Age game?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nintendo not like everything, even marketing style,
Yeah.
right? It's like we're not going to shoot for the teens and you know.
Yeah.
See, what impresses me is they did it all in one generation.
Yeah, exactly. And like Nintendo doesn't need like if you want to play Final Fantasy,
They
go
didn't-
play it on a PlayStation because the games like Nintendo doesn't care about their market. They're inventing their own. They're
No,
bringing
they are,
people
like you
tells me
said,
that-
they
Yeah.
are an island. They have no dependence on outside properties.
So it's so. I don't think this would be as bad if there weren't like murmurings around about like Phil Spencer looking to try and acquire Nintendo. Like, if there wasn't this conversation of like, man, the video game space is getting smaller. Like this idea of like, yeah, we're getting bigger by
Nintendo
getting
wouldn't do
smaller.
it. They
Like
would not.
Blizzard is under the same umbrella as Bethesda. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little that makes us
Yeah,
nervous.
But then to me,
And,
it means two things. One, it means that Nintendo had it all along, and they were holding back
Okay.
because look how quickly they switched over
Yeah.
to be able to play Cyberpunk within one generation of Switch. From a crappy graphics to damn good graphics. They had it, or they were just waiting.
I think they were just waiting.
They were waiting their turn.
I think it was more of just what was available at the time.
Well, I don't even think like legitimately you can see like the Rogue Ally and like the Steam Deck. Like there are handhelds that can play these games.
Yep.
But those existed because the Switch they
Those
those would
literally-
not be around if it wasn't
Yeah.
for the Switch.
No, they wouldn't.
It's,
No,
it's
wouldn't.
literally like
Because they're all ours, Switch knockoffs.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
they are.
It's like it's the equivalent of like the technology was already there. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not. We already have processors that can run Cyberpunk.
Yes.
We already had ray tracing. There's nothing new in the Switch 2.
Yeah.
But it's the original Switch. I don't think it's that they were like holding back, but it's the fact that they were literally building the first ever spaceship.
Kinda, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like okay. Hey man, once we get into space, we got to worry about like oxygen and gravity. Like they scaled down the technology not because they couldn't do better, but because they were fighting to make things that had never been done before.
Exactly.
And then once they had made it, well, now there's all this room for growth. But you have to
You got to
get
build
that
that first.
beachhead.
It's the same thing.
You got to
in
get to the moon first.
Exactly.
Then you can do
well,
everything
it's the same
else.
thing with like video editing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the times, a lot of the work is building your initial template that you're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
do, sequential shows off of.
Yeah.
Also,
The-
I don't think Microsoft. I can just real fast. I don't think Microsoft is going to buy Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo's going anywhere.
As far as I know, Nintendo is.
But I
like-
think it's the other way around.
That would be
think-
interesting.
I
No,
think
it
Microsoft
would be-
would really like to buy Nintendo. I don't
no,
think
it
Nintendo's
wouldn't be.
selling.
It would not be Microsoft itself. It would be the Xbox program.
You
the
think
Xbox
you
side
think
of it.
Nintendo purchasing the Xbox?
Yeah.
That's a potentiality.
And
It's a little
go
out
into
there.
Cloud,
I would-
it's a little out there, but
but,
go into cloud streaming.
Yeah. They-
and also dip
I mean,
into with
we could-
PlayStation and Microsoft does both PlayStation and
Yeah.
Nintendo and go basically here. We'll be now a platform for you guys to take any game you want and play it on our systems.
Yep. I would
your
like
systems.
to. If I could see Nintendo purchasing Xbox solely so they can, not solely, but like a main reason being that they can purchase that online infrastructure that they just haven't ever had.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that.
Friend codes do not work.
I don't know that Nintendo wants it.
That's
like,
that's the thing. They
my
don't want it.
thing.
Yeah, I
like,
think if
I
they
don't
did,
think-
that would be a path
I
of
don't
least
know about
resistance.
that.
I don't think they want it.
I think Xbox provides a certain kind of soft value to Microsoft that they would not be willing to give
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
I
there
know,
is
but-
Xbox exists to drive the market for a better processor, a better screen, a better rig.
Yeah.
And I don't think like if Microsoft wasn't in control of both sides of that equation, I think that they would. I think that they like having that too much. I don't think Xbox is interested in. I don't think Microsoft is interested in selling Xbox, and I don't
No.
think Nintendo is interested in buying it either.
No. Like I said, I don't think Nintendo's going anywhere. I think it's going to stay where it is. So yeah, let's.
Is that Switch 2 stuff? I think that's
pretty
Switch 2 stuff.
We covered it for like half an hour,
Yeah.
so.
There's also just the pricing's bad.
Yeah.
By pricing's bad, I mean like the game. They ripped they opened Pandora's box with like the.
They're going to get Stardew Valley, Stardew Valley for free and all that.
Yeah, there's a couple of like smaller nitpicky things. I say smaller, they're not. They're huge and potentially catastrophic. But we've just spent 30 minutes talking about it.
Yeah. We'll cover the financials and stuff next month and talk about what numbers
All right,
think are going to look like. And stuff.
Move on to that game that you were playing, 33.
Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The Claire Obscure does. I legitimately, like, I knew I was going to be on this today. I legitimately have been like trying to figure out like how do I sum up why this game is why video games are going to change.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has done 3 things in a way that have utterly changed like what it is when you put it all together. Very basically, what I would say is that Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is it is an RPG. There is actual news about how it released alongside Oblivion under the same publisher. It was on Games Pass. It was bought for Games Pass, and Microsoft hung it out to dry. Like, I can only imagine people. There are probably people in Sandfall Entertainment or Interactive, I can't remember which it is, that are willing to commit arson right now because they made what is maybe the best game of the decade, and it was thrown away for Oblivion, and even Todd Howard was like, "Hey, I don't think you should have done that." like Todd Howard was like, but leaving that aside, just talking about the game itself. Expedition 33 does 3 things utterly perfectly. The first is that it is inspired by all of the best games ever made. And it, by being so, like, it is inspired to the point of, like, plagiarism's the wrong word, but it's the wrong spirit, but the right word. Like, this is done out of, like, love and understanding. Like, these people know their stuff. And they're like, that's a great combat system. I'm gonna plug that in like a Lego brick.
Yep.
And then they did that. But what's interesting is that they did that from so many things that absolutely shouldn't work.
Okay.
I'll phrase it like this. It is a turn-based RPG in the style of, like, Persona's obviously a huge influence. The UI is flawless. Like, it pops off the screen. Like, you are getting a visual experience you have not seen out of something that is, like, as stylized as Persona, only this is like a grittier, like, realer, like, almost Games of Thronesy. Like, it has a lot of fidelity. And still a lot of style. Fusing those two should already be impossible, but like that pop off the screen, like every time I'm navigating a menu, I feel good. Like I can open a menu and just jam for 10 minutes and just hit buttons to watch things move and be like, oh my god, that pose is awesome. Oh, I love how they did it. That's so cool. Like they clearly took that. And it's that turn-based game, and they also threw in Sekiro. Okay. An action combat game where you are like fighting, like you're all like worried about like animation locks and like, you know, like how many frames is this going to take? And they took a turn-based combat system, threw that in there, and what the result is that it is somehow both at the same time.
Okay.
Wow.
Like it's unbelievable.
Okay.
The idea that like the way it basically works is that during your turn, it's Persona 5. It's a turn-based game. You go through the menus, you decide this, and like, oh, that's going to give me a buff. It's going to help me next turn.
Yep.
And I have to manage like my action points, and I'm going to get one of those every turn, and that's how I'm going to use my abilities. Like it feels good on that front from like the stance of Persona 5. But when it's not your turn, during your turn, you just don't have any defensive options. They don't exist.
Okay.
You don't have, I need to guard. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You just have to, like, make your attacks and do whatever. When it's not your turn, you're playing Dark Souls. If you get hit 5 times, you're dead. You didn't have any choice for defense, and the only way you can protect yourself is by parrying and dodging the way you would have to in a Soulsborne game. Like literally, it's like it's on animation. You can like parry. If you parry, you get action points to use on your turn for the other turn-based combat system. But like you can literally watch like parry-only runs of boss fights, and you wouldn't know it was turn-based. It's just like, oh, that's literally you're playing Elden Ring. Like you're parrying the boss's attack. No, that one's unparryable, so you have to dodge. It's like, and mixing those two together means like I have all the time in the world to be tactical on my own turn. And when it's not my turn, I'm like, okay, I'm memorizing like, what is this animation? What attack is coming at me? No, that's 3 frames later. I know to wait here. I have to roll this way. And those two fusing together is unbelievable. Like it is greater than both by being both at the same time. And you take that another level, like you the like second, and that's like everything. Like it has an old school overworld. I'm talking like original Final Fantasy overworld where you're like you're a big monster stomping around, like and that leads you to like more modern systems and like all these inspirations from like all different eras and generations of like video game ethos and making them. Like you see things in Clair Obscur that you haven't seen in a video game in like 20 years. Because it's like, no, that's outdated. Why would you ever do that? But it feels at home here.
Nice.
And fusing all of these inspirations where you can tell where it came from, but it is so much its own thing, is flawless. The next part is that like a thing I realize about this game is that it doesn't matter what you like about video games. Clair Obscur is meeting you where you want to be. Like if you're in it for the combat is electrifying. If you're in it for like the RPG mechanics, building it, it is so deep and intricate, and like how you build your party and what you can like, you have so many options for how to build each character. Each character like has their own mechanic that you can build around, and you have more characters that you can put in a party. So how you mix those changes the RPG dynamic of it. If you're in a game for like the art and story, this is one of the best soundtracks I've heard in any video game ever made.
Nice.
It like if you're here for like cultural stuff, like this game is so clearly French. You're fighting mimes. They mention the guillotine within the first 5 minutes of playing it. Like this game is Clair Obscur. You are from Lumiere. Like this game is like so much about where it's from, but it's also about like painting and dance and art. And like if you don't care about that, it's not gonna hurt you. If you do care about that, you're gonna feel what's happening. And the third thing, like it legitimately, no matter what you like about video games, that thing is firing on all cylinders.
That's awesome.
And so it's like I can play Expedition 33 and you can play Expedition 33, and we're both going to have the best time ever, and it can be for completely different reasons. And that like multi-level excitement in video games is so crazy. Like you can see people who are like, "Oh my god, Monster Hunter is my favorite game ever." But if you're not the kind of guy that doesn't like Monster Hunter, you just don't like Monster Hunter. But that kind of person doesn't exist for this game. There is no person who's like, I like video games, who doesn't like this. That's crazy.
That's
Like,
insane.
That kind of integration is wild.
Yeah, I want to check
Yeah.
out that combat system.
You
I'm not,
need to.
I'm not a very big turn-based guy.
Yeah.
But I
neither.
love RPG systems.
When we're done this, before I leave, I'm just gonna show you a clip of like
Okay.
one of the bosses that's parry only, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be like,
Okay.
"What's happening?" Like, my brain
Yeah, I
chemistry
just-
is changing.
Yeah.
I don't like turn by turn based games
Yeah.
because it's just slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not gonna feel that.
You know, it's just
This
slow.
this
it's just
game is
boring.
turn based until it's not your turn, and then you're playing Dark Souls.
That's insane. Okay.
Yeah, and like the third thing is that like it has one of the most like instantly hookable stories that is
Nice.
like you look at it and you're like, that's wild, and no one else is like, this is so unique that like no one else is ever gonna think about it. Like
Nice.
its themes and its design, like the basic idea is that like you are on Expedition 33. The world exploded 67 years ago. It all just magic exists now. That didn't used to be true. Maybe it did. I don't know. Don't know what it was like before the shattering or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
But the idea is that there is a like literally so far away it's over the curvature of the earth. There is a monolith so big it's clearly visible.
Okay.
And under it is this woman called the Paintress. And every year she paints a number on the monolith. And she started with 100 and now she's counting down. And whenever she paints a new number, every single person alive that age dies.
Oh my God.
So the Expedition 33, she's been counting down from 100. The current number is 33.
So anybody 33 years old is going to die.
Everyone 34 literally just died. And like the idea of the game is that every year they send everyone whose number is literally up
Yeah.
gets on a boat and they send them towards the monolith in the hope
Yeah.
that they're gonna stop the Paintress and maybe the world won't end.
Yep. I mean, yeah. If your
Yeah.
number's up, it's
It's
on you to go take care of
yeah,
it.
it's-
You're literally, your number's up.
Literally,
Yeah.
your number is up.
That's crazy.
But like, you hear that story and you're like, I've never heard anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
and so there's all these themes, like literally the first fight, the prologue of the game is like Gustav, the main character, meets with like his his sweetheart of many years who they broke up because she is a year older than him.
Oh no.
And she is going to die today.
Yep. Oh,
And it's like, like, dude, I don't know how to deal with these feelings.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's all this thing of like, yeah, we invented magic to try and kill the Paintress. And but you have this thing of like, okay, society's literally been prepping for this one thing, but no expedition has ever made it back except the first one. We barely have notes on like what's actually on the mainland. It's on the other side of an ocean.
Yeah.
You get there and you are instantly in a world that you know nothing about. Like
Nice.
there are monsters you've never seen before. There are like myths that like you maybe were true, like children's fairy tales, like that you're seeing walking around, and like everything that happens. Only it's like this mixture of like Alice in Wonderland where you're like, I don't know what that is. That cat's talking to me and
Yeah.
it smiles real
know.
Big. Like
Am I on LSD? That
no,
is
you're
weird.
like, what's a Jabberwocky? I don't know. Like, yeah. The like every part of Clair Obscure is so immediately like drawing you in, and it looks so good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll show you a clip
Yep.
later. It looks so good.
Nice.
Like, this game is a game that could legitimately win every award at the Game Awards.
Nice.
It's going to win Game of the Year. That's not a question.
Nice.
Even the person who made even the person who made It Takes Two, I forget what they're called,
Yep.
was like, when they released Split Fiction, they're like, can't wait for that new Game of the Year trophy. And then
Yeah.
they said, like, they just released a thing being like, okay,
Yeah,
like,
sorry,
good
no.
game, good game.
These guys are better.
Yeah, like, that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like literally, the person who made Danganronpa, like this huge cult classic, like they own their market, put out a thing because their game came out like a week after Expedition 33, and they said it'll be here when you're done, when you're finished your
Okay.
expedition. Like
Nice.
this game is the world's different now.
That's awesome.
All right, let's move on. It's going to be a fun game. Sounds like
It's
a fun game.
so much fun.
Yeah, really fun. Like I might try it because, like I said,
You should.
Yeah.
I'm
You-
not much
It's
into.
on Game
You
Pass. I'll give it a whirl.
deserve a game this good in your life. Like you owe it to
It is on Game
yourself
Pass?
to play
Yep,
this.
yeah. It's
I
on
think I
Game
saw
Pass,
it.
Clown Gaming. It came out the same. It basically.
It's on Game Pass.
They dropped it
Yeah.
at the same time as
Like-
Oblivion, which we barely even touched on. The
Yeah.
fact that they did a completely remastered version of Oblivion, kept the script, threw everything else out.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched that yet, unfortunately. But I will. It's so fun to see that game. As somebody who jumped into the Bethesda world in Fallout 3 was like my introduction. Before that, my brother was playing Morrowind and Oblivion and was telling me about it.
Yeah.
He's like, this game's crazy. This game's all. I'm like, all right, whatever. I never got into it. I started playing Fallout 3, and I'm like, Kyle, this game's fantastic. He's like, yeah, it's just like Oblivion with guns. I'm like, really? This is what Oblivion? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wait, this is great. I want to try that now.
Yeah.
So, it's so funny to see the bones of things from like 10, 15 years ago that are still so prevalent in something
yeah,
like
it's
Skyrim or
nice.
Fallout 4 or things like that.
And it's also nice to see that they updated the graphics. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what the graphics should
It
look like when it
looks
came out
beautiful,
20
yeah.
years
well,
ago.
they built it in Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah.
which is
Oh yeah.
that is no small task
Yep.
to
No.
to
The fact
re-engine
that
a game.
the thing that gets me is they didn't even tell anybody. You know what I mean? It
Well,
was just. I'm sure there were rumblings.
They didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
There literally years ago, people were like, "We're hearing about like people." I'll put it like
Yeah.
this: I know people who a year ago were angry that an Oblivion remaster was going to come out before Elder Scrolls 6. like people knew about this forever
Yeah.
ago. This was the most telegraphed thing ever. Where like people were like, "Yeah, like."
This wasn't even on my radar. I love surprise
It's
announcements.
funny that it wasn't on your radar because for me there was this thing of like Bethesda was gonna make an announcement and like I saw like someone like live tweeting they were like at a thing, they were a games journalist and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, Bethesda's making an announcement, that's probably Oblivion.
Yep.
like are you announcing the Oblivion remaster you've been working on for 2 years?
What do you mean? We haven't
Is
worked
that-
on anything.
Yeah, and like,
Anyway.
Anyway.
It was Oblivion remastered.
yeah, no, but like the number of times I've seen interviews with like game asset artists, and they're like, yeah, well, Bethesda's working on something in Unreal Engine 5. And they're like, oh, is that the Oblivion remake you're not telling anyone about? And people were like, no,
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
yeah,
All
like,
right, we get speed round here. We got
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
minutes. We got
All
a speed
right.
round to it. GTA 6 has finally got a release date. Fall of 2025 or 2026. Now moved up to 2026.
Is it? I haven't. Let me see. Fall. Wonder who mean it fall. I think it's. Hold on a sec.
However, on May 15th, Take-Two will be having a
Yeah.
fourth quarter fiscal
So-
year 20 earning call, which could mean that we release an update on potential release date for 6. This is just
I think
one
we're gonna
of
get-
ways that take.
I think we're gonna get a release date. May 15th earnings call is usually when they kind of schedule some of their announcements and stuff around. I think that's gonna be if Rockstar decides to
October of this year.
I think it's going to be October. Borderlands 4 just announced their release date was September 19th, and they moved it back to September 12th. They moved it back a week.
Yeah.
And people are like, is that because maybe there's another game coming out at that time you're trying to
Yeah.
avoid? And they said 0%, but
well, usually what happens is that like, and this is one of the reasons why like the Oblivion and Expedition
Yeah.
33 thing is so weird is that like if you have a publisher or like a parent company, you hand a sheet to somebody that this is the game we're making, this is what genre it is, and then that publisher will look at all the games
Yep.
under their label and go, okay, well, we're going to release that here. This game isn't in the same market, so that can come out like a month later.
yeah, they got to stagger. it.
Yeah, like they so like it's very possible that they might not know the reason they're pushing it back because they've just been told like no, that's
No,
not
it's
your
going.
day.
Yeah, it's going back. I saw one person had suggested the fact. I think it was like an ex Rockstar dev. It was like, no more trailers, no more information. Don't give out a single thing on this game until release date, and just release it. You don't even need a whole lot of hype. That would break my brain.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, what else you got? Oh, Doom the Dark Ages.
Doom Dark Ages coming out on the 13th of May. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. Hopefully it's better than Eternal or External, and hopefully it'll be a good.
I've seen nothing but great things about it. My sons have beaten Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 several times over. They are.
Hate 'em.
This is already preloaded on my Xbox and has been for like a month and a half. And I've told them like, dude, we can download it the day it comes out. It's on game. It's like, no, I want to be ready. Like, okay, all right. Yeah,
All right.
so we will definitely talk about that one next month.
Next month, and then of course moving ahead, Borderlands 4 is coming out in September. Fortnite's got a Star Wars end of the month. Got this time we got a whole complete season of Star Wars.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
It's going to be for 5 weeks of nothing but Star Wars, and they're having the map is going to be certain areas of
Like Star Wars lands.
yeah,
Nice.
like the Hoth and
Tatooine and all that. fun
Tatooine
stuff.
and all
I
that.
can't remember what game it's supposed to be inspired by, but I heard that like it's the spiritual successor to a game that kind of died out, and people are really excited about that. Like a Star Wars coat of paint on like a game that really deserves a revival, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's what Fortnite did with Rock Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, they've revived it. Now everybody wants to play
I
Rock
mean,
Band.
you can buy a plastic guitar just for Fortnite now.
Yeah.
And I'll say that the Fortnite Music Fest, if you're a musically inclined person, it is so ridiculously fun because they have all the songs that you can buy or whatever, but each song has its bass, guitar, vocals, and drums, and you can play each one of those individually with any other. Individual track with other people. You can change the key, you can change the tempo, and you can create your own original songs, mashups.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If you're musically inclined,
A spiritual
it's so
revival
fun.
of something that really deserved it. I'm all about it.
Yep.
Call of Duty, they're having the latest emos accusing to play to win. The new COD, they're doing a emote that people think is controversial. Let's see, well, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Marvel Rivals releasing a patch notice for today. They're updating the Doctor Strange's character skin. They're going to update it. They're going to add a few things that weren't, add new skins for Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Bugs Fix, and a new Hellfire Gala moment event. Now, I have played Marvel Rivals. And you're right, it's a lot like Overwatch, Overwatch wants to be.
Yep.
It's
I
a lot
still
more
haven't
fun.
tried it. I gotta check that out.
I haven't
at
tried
some
it
point.
either. I need to because
I-
is it going to be an event for esports next year?
It is one of the available games through Playverses, but
And I
it's
wanna-
through
if
the,
it's
it's through the
already out.
schools that determine what games we're gonna have. So
Can I coach it?
maybe if we can get it as a
I'll
sport.
start learning the game
Yeah.
if we end up doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I will
I'll
too.
coach it because it's
right.
Overwatch and I can play that type of stuff. It's
Yep.
easy. Other than esports, like as we just mentioned about how they're releasing the dates of, all of them,
Yep.
the NFL college and the NFL at the same time. I just came across Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles getting a new game.
I might head out just to make sure that the
Yeah,
kids are taken care
Go
of.
for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Want to call it a show, Darren?
Yeah, we're going to call it.
All right.
See you later, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment down below. And that's it.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month. Thanks,
Yep.
everybody.
Bye.